Ethiopia and Turkey have a long history of ties stretching hundreds of years. But formal diplomatic relations between the two countries started in 1896 with the exchange of delegations during the reign of Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia and the rule of Sultan Abdulhamid II of Turkey. The first Ottoman Turkish Consulate General was opened in Harar in 1912. Following the consulate, the first embassy of the Republic of Turkey in sub-Saharan Africa was opened in Addis Ababa in 1926. Ethiopia opened its embassy in Turkey in 1933. The embassy in Ankara was closed in 1984 and it was reopened in 2006. Dr. Mulatu Teshome, the current president, was appointed Ethiopia's ambassador to Turkey when relations were actively resumed in 2006. Since the resumption of diplomatic relations at the ambassadorial level, the countries' bilateral ties have been strengthened considerably. Over the last years, there have been exchange visits involving high-level delegates of both countries, which signify the importance of the bilateral ties. Their relations have been further strengthened by economic cooperation as well as trade and investment. Since 2006, scheduled service of the country's flag carrier, the Turkish Airlines, have included daily direct flights between Istanbul and Addis Ababa. Furthermore, continuing bilateral visits between the two countries at the highest levels have contributed to further enhance the ties. The recent visit of the Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan in Ethiopia is an indication of the strong ties between the two countries. In his visit in Ethiopia, President Tayyip Erdogan has conferred with Prime Minister Haile Desalegn at the National Palace. The discussion focused on bilateral, regional and global issues of common interest. During their discussion, the two sides agreed to work closely to expand trade links from the current $400 million to have $1 billion a year. Prime Minister Haile welcomed the growing trade between the two countries and urged Turkish investors to take part in labor-intensive areas such as textile production, garment and footwear.
We know that we have excellent bilateral relations between our two countries. We want to deepen and strengthen this relationship. And first of all, our relationship in terms of investment and trade is remarkable. And we want to see that more Turkish investors come to Ethiopia and invest, especially in light manufacturing sectors like textile and garment and shoe and leather products, which is our comparative advantage. Of course, we have investors in construction materials production in my country, and I think the President and myself and the delegation agreed that we want to deepen this investment portfolio.
He also explained about the vast potential resource for energy generation in Ethiopia. According to Haile, Ethiopia is rich in renewable energy sources suitable for hydropower, wind, geothermal and solar energy generation. He assured the delegation of Ethiopia's readiness to work with the government of Turkey in providing guarantees for power purchase agreements.
Again, we want to extend the investment sphere in terms of energy production and generation, and we agreed that Ethiopia and the Ethiopian government will work on the power purchase agreement, and when the Turkish companies work on energy production, we will be engaging in a power purchase agreement.
He said the president's visit offered an opportune moment to attract further Turkish investment in Ethiopia. The two sides have agreed to work together through their respective foreign economic offices for a coordinated investment within the framework of IGAD. While discussing regional issues, Prime Minister Haile commended Turkey's role in the reconstruction of Somalia.
We also agreed, as I said, in peace and security matters, that the Horn of Africa should be peaceful and strong. In this regard, we agreed to work very closely on the issue of Somalia, where Turkey is very strong in supporting the government and people of Somalia, and Ethiopia engaged in peacekeeping as well as supporting the people and government of Somalia. I think we will be working in the IGAD framework as well as bilaterally in Ethiopia and Turkey. So I think this is an important decision and agreement we have reached. the Ethiopian literature, language, and culture issues. Some universities in Turkey will take care of it. And similarly, Addis Ababa University also will work on, and also other regional universities will work on the Turkish culture and language issues. So that will increase and deepen our people-to-people relations between Turkey and Ethiopia.
Bunun yanında yine Addis Ababa Üniversitesi'nde bir Türkoloji bölümünün kurulması arzumuzdur.
And we would like to see the establishment of a Turkology department within the Addis Ababa University in Ethiopia.
Ve bütün bunlarla birlikte Yunus Emre Enstitüsü ile müşterek bir çalışmanın zeminini hazırlayalım istiyoruz.
And we would like to lay the foundation for certain joint endeavors to be undertaken with a full partnership of Yunus Emre Institute.
The Addis Ababa University awarded President Erdogan an honorary doctorate degree for his contribution towards the development, democracy and freedom in his country and for his firm stance on African issues.
Mr. President, therefore, in view of the significant contribution you have brought to Ethio-Turkish relations in a short time span, such as a decade, in view of your continued dedication to African issues, and above all, in view of your inspiring stance along the quest for justice, it gives me great pleasure to announce that upon the recommendation of the Senate and by the authority vested in me by the board, I have the honor to declare that Addis Ababa University Senate decided to confer upon you the degree of Doctors of Human Letters honoris causa.
Currently, 181 Ethiopian students are studying in Turkey, and the President has promised to continue this cooperation in human development. He also emphasized that Turkey and Ethiopia will continue to cooperate in fighting terrorism in different ways. In congratulatory message on the occasion, Ethiopia's President Dr. Mulatu Teshome highlighted the importance of President Erdogan's visit in connecting the educational institutions of the two countries.
Actually, the relationship which Ethiopia and Turkey enjoy today is due to the fact that the President, when he was the Prime Minister of Turkey, made his first sub-Saharan Africa trip, and his first meal was Ethiopia. His discussion with our late Prime Minister in looking into how to further strengthen the historical relations between our two countries is the fruit which we are witnessing today. In the modern world, education has a vital role to play in the life of nations, particularly in developing countries, where people are becoming more and more conscious of their duties and responsibilities in shaping the future of their countries.
President of Addis Ababa University, Dr. Admasu Tsagaye, on his part said President Erdogan had played a significant role in fighting terrorism, in hosting Syrian refugees, and in the reconstruction of Somalia.
You have been hailed as an intellectual on the global scene, vocally putting up and defending morality, democracy, and justice towards the most afflicted and suffering people in the world, and especially in the Middle East and Africa. A more assertive Turkish foreign policy, soft power projection standing up against injustices and sufferings of peoples in the four corners of the globe, opening up Turkey's borders to millions of refugees in need, combating terrorism, helping and rebuilding states such as Somalia, that have been and continue to be some of the hallmarks of your country.
In line with the visit by the President, the Ethio-Turkey Business Forum was held at the Sheraton Addis.
Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, His Excellency Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia.
Since 2003, the volume of trade between Ethiopia and Turkey has grown sevenfold. And during the same period, the number of Turkish companies has increased dramatically. An important outcome of this increase has been the creation of jobs for over 32,000 Ethiopians. With their investment capital amounting to $3 billion, Turkish companies are now the biggest private sector employers in the country. In effect, Ethiopia has become the nerve center of Turkish investment in Africa.
Turkey is now the leading investor in Ethiopia, with more than 100 companies engaged in job creation, technology transfer, support our industrialization drive, and expansion of infrastructure schemes. Two-way trade is steadily expanding between Africa and Turkey. It has increased from a mere $4 billion in 2003 to more than $25 billion by 2013. By the same token, our bilateral trade has registered substantial increase. We would like to encourage our Turkish friends to seize this opportunity to explore many more untapped opportunities in our country that can promise mutual growth and prosperity.
Ethiopia has identified the low labor cost as a real incentive for Turkish investment in textiles and garments. Ethiopia's large population and its vast domestic market are important elements for investors. The potential for manufacturing of construction materials is another area for Turkish businesses. President of the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Association, Selemon Afwerk, Chair of Foreign and Economic Board of Turkey, Mr. Omer Chichad Vardan, Director General of Ethiopian Investment Commission, Fitsum Arega, were among the speakers at the Business Delegation Forum. A similar business forum is planned to take place in Istanbul within the next 2 months. The relation of Turkey and Ethiopia goes beyond economic and political cooperation. The two countries are also working to strengthen their people-to-people relations.
We agreed that there is huge opportunity for tourism and, of course, people-to-people relations. And basically, Ethiopia is a country who offered refuge to the messengers of Prophet Muhammad. We have Al-Najashi as a basis. And I think we both agreed that we will facilitate and deepen this relationship based on the Al-Najashi Mosque and the Najashi City in Ethiopia, which will be also deepening our two people's relationship.
Gideceksiniz dedi ve Müslümanlar o zaman Habeşistan'a buralara geldi.
As His Excellency the Prime Minister mentioned, thousands of ages ago, about 1400 years ago, the Muslims who were fleeing from tyranny and oppression found refuge here in these lands. And our Prophet Muhammad at the time stated the fact that the king on these lands will be a safe king, is a trustworthy king. So this was going to be a safe haven, safe refuge for all of the Muslims, so that's why they were sent here and they were accommodated.
Habeş Kralı Necaşi'nin bizim dünyamızda böyle anlamlı, özel bir konumu, yeri var.
That's exactly why King Najashi has been holding a very special position in our hearts and in our minds.
Dolayısıyla burası güvenli bir bölge.
So that's why this is still a safe haven.
Emin bir bölge.
This is a trustworthy haven.
This multifaceted cooperation between the two countries is a proof that a new era is indeed opened in the course of their relations.
Eşlik ediyor bu ziyaretimize teknokratlar, bürokratlar eşlik ediyor.
We are being accompanied by a very rich array of ministers, technocrats and bureaucrats as well.
Dolayısıyla bugün yaptığımız ve yapacağımız tüm görüşmelerle inanıyorum ki Türkiye ve Etiyopya arasında yeni bir dönem başlayacaktır.
That's why within the framework of all the talks and all the contacts we shall initiate today, there is going to be a new era incepted between Turkey and Ethiopia.